What's up, everyone? This is Mike Mikoff from F7 Sports. Today we're joined with Tyree Jackson. You know, he's probably one of the best athletes we've had in the Muskegon area. He went to Mona Shores, then went to Buffalo, played for the Bills for a while, and currently he's on the DC Defenders. How's it going, Tyree?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So you were in the spring of your 8th grade year, correct, when Coach Koziak got the job at Shores?
Oh, yep.
Do you remember at all what the program was like before he got there?
I think that, football wasn't as high as a priority as it was when he became the coach. Football season meant year-round with Coach Koziak, and before that, I don't know if necessarily the turnout was the same, but I know that when he got there, that kind of changed, and it became a culture of year-round work, and the season was never really over.
What specific things do you remember that he instantly changed when he got there?
I would say it wasn't necessarily, we did change offenses. We went to the veer and, option football, but I think it was bigger than that. I just think it was the culture change and him just getting guys to believe in themselves, and then immediately being able to send guys to college, and you see that, if you work hard and do the right stuff, that, football can pay you back in a sense, and you can go to school for free. So I think that he just changed a lot of kids' mindsets.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been to a lot of programs around here, and I can tell you one thing, nobody works as hard as Shores does.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Koziak and Coach James do a great job with, getting numbers and getting guys to turn out and come into the weight room and do those things. So I would agree.
At what point were you starting to realize that you were going to start on varsity your freshman year?
Well, the spring of 8th grade, like you said, he got the job, and I started to work out there, and I got the chance to, meet Coach James and start working with him, and just throughout each, session we had and all that, I grew more and more confident, and then, I didn't really think that I was going to play varsity until he asked me and my family, and once that happened, then, I just kind of got ready for that and just kept working and listening to Coach Koziak and Coach James.
Yeah, Coach Koziak was saying, you used to go to the high school and middle school Perfect 13s while you were still in your 8th grade year. I mean, that's unheard of now.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It was pretty cool. My dad would pick me up from the middle school and drop me off, and the days he couldn't, I would walk there. So it was a good opportunity to get in extra work, and I always knew what I wanted to do, and so I just once he started implementing the weight room and how important it was, I just wanted to be there as much as possible.
So, you're a freshman. I think you were like between 5'7" and 5'9" at that time. It was before you hit your growth spurt event. So you were going against guys 3 to 4 years older than you and bigger than you. How big were the butterflies going into that first game?
I would say that I get nervous still when I play. I get nervous before every game, but definitely, first game and playing against Muskegon Catholic, playing against some of, kids that I knew and kids I grew up with. So it was definitely an exciting and nervous game. But playing with guys like Aaron Doriat, they really kind of helped me along that year. We didn't necessarily win a lot of games, but I grew a ton that year, probably more than I ever have, due to guys like Aaron Doriat and the coaches, Coach James, Coach Koziak.
Yeah, and so what were some of the biggest lessons you learned during that first year?
I'd just say just how much the amount of work it takes, even in high school, whether you're the best team or the worst team, it's all separated by how hard you work. I just knew, I would just say that I just knew just from the freshman year to senior year just how much work we had put in to, change the record, and it started showing up on the scoreboard. But I would just say just working hard and trusting in the coaches. Those are the biggest lessons I learned as a freshman.
So let's jump ahead 2 years, too. You guys made the playoffs at 7-3. I think that's one of the most talented teams Shores has ever had. And you guys had Muskegon and Lowell both on the ropes. Could you feel like that season was more than just, a one-year thing and that Shores was turning into a quality program?
Oh, definitely. I always say that too. That team, there was a ton of talent on that team. Probably one of the most talented teams I've played on. And like you said, it was a close game at Lowell. Some tough plays, but other than that, I mean, that team easily could have went to the state championship, I think, with the amount of talent and the senior group that we had. But I think that I definitely knew after that last game that we would have a chance to make a run the next year, because just how hungry the guys were, and then just having the class that was sophomores that would be juniors the next year, how talented they were as well coming up. So I knew that we would have the talent to make a run, and I think everyone was just very motivated.
Yeah, and then you jump ahead to your senior year. Early in the season, you guys lost to Rockford. You guys scored the first play of the game and then ended up losing 10-7. Did you feel like that game sort of pushed you guys forward in a way to, make you better to get to the state championship?
Yeah, definitely. We had a lot of hype going into that year, and I feel like that game kind of humbled us and, got us back to reality and got us back to, on track to accomplishing the goals we want to accomplish. So I do think that loss did mold us for the season, and I'm glad that it happened early and not in the playoffs.
If you look back, your high school career completely, you guys go from 1-8 your freshman year, 4-5 your sophomore year, 7-3 your junior year, to 12-2 and in the state championship your senior year. What three things do you think played into the turnaround the most?
I would just say I think that it was a lot of things, but I think the main things was just the commitment from the players. The coaches definitely bringing out the best in each player and playing to the strengths of each team. And I would just say, I'd say the community was a big part too. I think the community started to really rally around the football program, and I think that helped a lot. And I think that the community has changed just as much as the program as far as wins and losses. I remember football was never really a big thing at Mona Shores, but now each year you got kids going to college, and all the games for the most part are sold out, and it's exciting. So I'd say those three things that changed the most affected it.
If you had to pick a favorite game from your entire high school career, what would it be?
I'd probably have to say the game that I was hurt in the playoffs, because I'd never been a part against Farmington Hills. Yeah, I'd never been a part of a game like that where it came down to the third string quarterback coming in and throwing a touchdown pass, and that just goes to show like that group of kids that we played with that year, how close we were and how unselfish we were as a team, and how when we needed someone to step up, they did. So I thought that was a really cool one.
Yeah, I was at that game. I was actually in fourth grade, and that had to be the best game I've ever been to in person. I mean, I couldn't believe you get hurt, Tyler gets hurt, and then the third string quarterback Elijah Wilson goes in and scores and gets the 2-point conversion. I mean, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, that and the Muskegon game were probably the two most memorable games of high school.
Yeah. So after you left high school and went to Buffalo, you basically did the same thing there. You guys went 2-10, 6-6, and 10-4 before you declared for the draft. Were there any differences you thought between turning around Shores and turning around Buffaloes? No,
I think that it all started from the top with our coach. Like Coach Koziak came in and kind of turned it around. I feel like Lance Ockwold, when he got there my first year, did the same. Just holding guys accountable and just the small things that people don't really see. So I thought it was very similar, and I think they both did a great job.
So your second year starting at Buffalo, you guys went 6-6, just like I said before. And most of the time, 6 wins is enough to get in the bowl game. But you were one of the 4 teams that season that got left out. How much did that fuel your fire that offseason, knowing you guys probably had to win more than 6 games?
Oh, it definitely motivated us, and it put a chip on our shoulder just to kind of see how the college football world viewed us at that point, and thinking that we weren't good enough, that they didn't want to see us play in a bowl game. So I think that really motivated us and drove us for that off season. I think, we had posters and pictures and quotes from that, getting left at home all over our facility. So I think that was what propelled us for the next year to get to 10 wins for the first time.
Yeah, personally, I thought you guys deserved it because, I think you guys won either the last 4 or last 3 games. I mean, and then there were a few teams you guys beat that went to bowl games and got blown out.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely crazy, and I think everyone in our locker room, I know, thought that we should have played in it, and I definitely thought we should have played in one. But I think that it all worked out for the best and getting a chance to go play in the MAC championship the next year and win a lot of games.
So, yeah, the next year, even though you guys lost the bowl game, I think it was the Dollar General Bowl, right?
Yep.
How cool was that bowl game experience?
I thought it was really cool. That was the last time. We all knew that that'd be the last time a lot of us would get to play together and spend a week together and hang out. So I think that was just more so better than the game. Just enjoying that time with your close friends that you went through so much with.
So talk about the decision to declare for the draft. If you could go back and do it again, would you do the same thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. With all the information that I had at that point and everything that I got to accomplish in college and kind of, like you said, going from turning around Buffalo and doing that with, I don't think I would change anything.
And so I was watching the Combine, just like a lot of people on NFL Network. You did great, by the way. And,
thank you.
And I saw Steve Smith come out and talk to you and, said something like you were throwing the ball too hard. There were some guys I knew that said it was a cool moment, to get you exposure. I mean, you were on the front page of Yahoo, I think. And then there were some other guys that said it hurt your draft stock and that it was disrespectful. Well, I wanted to hear from you. What was your personal opinion on that?
I just do what I'm told. He's obviously a great player and had a great career. So, whatever he said, I definitely took it and listened to it. So I didn't mind it. I don't mind getting coached or anything like that.
I thought personally it was cool, to have someone who might be in the Hall of Fame someday come and talk to you.
Yeah, definitely.
During that draft experience, you probably got to travel a lot, go see a lot of cool things. Name some of the coolest players you got to meet.
I'd say the coolest player I met going through the draft process is probably Phillip Rivers. Just the amount of knowledge that he has and just how good of a person he is. So I thought that was really cool and just getting to learn from him.
Yeah, I've always been a big Phillip Rivers fan. I've always thought, him being with the Chargers kind of kept him from winning the Super Bowl, and it'll be interesting to see what he does with Indianapolis. And
yeah, definitely.
So what was it like in training camp with the Bills? Was the whole thing sort of surreal to you, knowing there's guys on the practice field you probably looked up to when you were younger and now they're your teammates?
Yeah and no. I think at the same time everything's moving so fast you really don't get the chance to think about that stuff. You're just going through the days and practicing and doing what your coaches want you to do. So you don't necessarily think of it, and at the end of the day you're all just normal people living life. So I never really felt like in awe or anything, but it was definitely an awesome experience, and I definitely got to see a lot of talented players.
Do you ever play as yourself in Madden 20?
I did once. I got a little franchise league, but I had to put my guy as the backup. He was struggling, and I did a little bit, but nothing crazy.
I noticed too a few days in the summer you were the first one to show up to training camp every day. Talk about your commitment to be the first one every time. Does that go back to high school a little bit, knowing that you have to work hard to achieve success? Yeah,
that's definitely a mentality that Coach James and Coach Koziak instilled in me. When I was in 8th grade, just hard work and then when I got to college, we had a college coach who always said hard work is the bare minimum. Everyone's working hard, so what are you going to do to separate yourself? So I always think about those things when I'm in season and even when I'm off season training. So I think that it definitely does go back to Coach Koziak and Coach James, though.
So now let's talk about your most recent experience with DC. What differences did you notice between playing for an NFL franchise and an XFL franchise?
I'd just say I necessarily think there was a lot of differences. Once you get to that level, I feel like everyone on the field's talented and, a very talented player that accomplished stuff in college and growing up. So I would just say that once it's professional football, I feel like that it wasn't very much differences. I think each week you had to be prepared because you're going to get to go against some very talented players.
Talk about your most recent game, before all this quarantine stuff and, whatever. Cardell throws a pick, gets benched, and you're in. How did that feel? How much did you feel like you needed to win that game, to prove that you could be the guy, not just in the XFL, but maybe push forward in your dream to be in the NFL?
For me, anytime that I'm playing and, competing, I'm trying to win. So whatever that takes, that's just my mindset. So I necessarily I wasn't even thinking about the next play or anything like that. I just always go play by play and just, do what I'm coached to do and really focus on winning the game, because it doesn't matter if you throw for 2 yards and 0 touchdowns and, do nothing, but it's just all about winning. So that's always been my mindset, and just how can I help the team win.
So I was even talking to your mom, like literally 2 days before we got, the season got shut down. And she said she was about to fly to Dallas to watch you guys against either Dallas or DC to watch you guys play the Renegades. And, the season got shut down. How much did that blindside you, sort of, that you guys had to end?
Yeah, sports has always been such a big part of my life, but, there's bigger stuff going on right now. So I definitely understood. And once I started seeing March Madness and other, college tournaments getting shut down, I kind of expected it and, understood that there's, a bigger thing going on right now than sports. And I understand that. And I completely agree with the decision. And I think that, we need to do our part and kind of helping this thing go away.
All right, final question. Talk about the differences between facing a high school defense, college defense, NFL defense, and XFL defense.
I would just say from high school to college, just the, amount of disguise and different stuff that teams can do. And then when you get, it just gets bigger and bigger each level you go. Once you go to the NFL, they disguise stuff a lot more. There's a lot more coverages, a lot more blitzes than you would, see in college or high school. So it's, I just say the protections, understanding the protections and the pressures that you're going to see each week changes. Because I know in high school, Coach Koziak always did a great job of getting us ready and stuff, but I didn't necessarily have to worry too much about protection and, where I was necessarily hot or where the free person was coming. I understood it, but it wasn't as big as when you get to the next level and you have to really understand it and change the protections and get guys lined up.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for your time. I hope you're having, even though, you can't really play football anymore, I hope you're staying in shape, working out. I mean, just, trying to find ways to pass time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.